नमस्कार. एडिटर्स टेक ही कार्यावळ आणि आज आमचे भितर आसात काँग्रेसचे फुडारी आमदार कार्लोस आल्वारीस फेरेरा. कार्लोस बाब तुमकां आमच्या स्टुडियोन येवकार दिता. आमी विधानसभेन जे तयारीचं कितें चलता त्या संदर्भात आमदार किंवा मंत्री हाका आपोवन हांगा डिस्कशन करतात. खंयचे खंयचे प्रश्न आमी चर्चेक घेतले आनी तुजे कालचे परफॉर्मन्स आजचे परफॉर्मन्स व्हेरी कमेंडेबल. काल तूं मेनली कला अकादमीचेर पळय आतां बोवाळ चलयत आसात. उमासाक लागून ताणें एक दीस विधानसभा घेतलेलो, मंगळारच्यान सुरू केली आनी कला अकादमी पडली. ताजे नंतर वेगळे वेगळे जे पळय प्रश्न एसेंब्लीन आयले तातूंत भितर आसा एक आमचे अर्थसंकल्प, तातूंत भितर मायनिंगाचे पयशे घालप किंवा स्मार्ट सिटी किंवा आतां स्पोर्ट्स स्कॅम, हे जे पळय इतले सगळे इशू आसात, ऑपोजिशनाचे परफॉर्मन्स तुका कितें दिसता? हाव
आय थिंक कितें जालां पळय, आमी ऑपोजिशन नंबर may matter for the purpose of voting.
Yes.
But opposition today has got quality and substance. And I think all of us are together on the same page, delivering the punches we need to do to expose the government, to showcase to the people the poor performance and the non-performance of the government.
Yes. म्हाका कार्लोस बाब सांग की are you happy with the answers given by the government?
तुका खबर आसा, तुम्ही पळयलें जाल्यार, because you all are journalists and you all understand it. The common man sometimes may not understand. Whenever you give a reply, we as lawyers, we understand your reply is there or is no reply. Or it's a dodging answer. So you have seen that very often they are like dodging and they are not specific to what question we ask. So I have to sometimes repeat the thing and say, no, it's this, it's that. So that is why तुमकां कळटा मागीर हांव एक्चुअली कितें इंचारलें आनी कितें करून डॉज करतात तें. So when you can't perform, the only thing is you have to mislead. So I think this is what they are doing.
सारकें. म्हाका सांग कार्लोस बाब की मिसलीड करता तेन्ना किंवा ऑपोजिशन उलयता तेन्ना तितलेंच उलोवपूच हें जाता, एक कितें तरी ताचो आउटकम आसपा जाय न्ही. तुजे आतां कितली एसेंब्ली कितल्यावी 1 वर्स जालें तुमी आतां जिखून येवन. सो तूं पळयता विधानसभा कशी फंक्शन करता. आर यू हॅपी विथ द हाव द गव्हर्मेंट आन्सर्स एंड यू नो द
See, sometimes I feel, I wonder whether certain politicians have become thick-skinned.
Sarke.
And they don't care a damn. You may shout on the top of your voice, but they will do what they want.
Sarke.
आमी लोकांचे दोळे उक्ती करूंक जाय. And that is the platform आमकां मेळटा. So we can float them, we can expose them, and we can take it to the people's court later on. And I think that is a very good forum. That is why we are happy that also तुम्ही पळयलें आसतलें 5 दिसाचे असेंब्ली, 10 दिसाचे असेंब्ली, कांय करूं जायनासलें आमकां. So now at least we got a long session where every time we are getting an opportunity to bear the government, bear the government म्हणून सामकें नागडी करपा तांकां. So this is what I think we are on a mission to. So it's not that because we want to oppose, it is we want to improve things so that the government can perform for the interest of the people.
कार्लोस बाब 2 गजाली आसात. एक स्पिकरान तुमकां उलोवपाक दिवप, एक दुसऱ्या अर्थान गव्हर्मेंटान तुमच्यो मागण्यो मान्य करप. मागण्यो मान्य केले तेन्ना इन्क्वायरी कमिटी, सभागर कमिटी म्हणून आसता, ह्यो करून तातूंतल्यान एक इन्व्हेस्टिगेशन जावन कितें तरी आउटकम येवपा जाय. विरोधकांनी फक्त बोवाळ केले म्हणून जायना. खूब जाण स्पिकर इंटरफियर करता आनीक ऑपोजिशनूय कांय वेळार गरजे भायर बोवाळ मारता. सो हें तुमी हो तालमेल कसो हें करतात?
सो आमी डिमांड करतात तेन्ना कमिशन घाल म्हण, इन्क्वायरी कमिटी घाल म्हण.
एक्झॅक्टली.
थोडे पाटी मागीर आमगे डिमांड एक्सेप्ट करना. सरकार कित्याक भिता? काँग्रेस आशिल्लो जाल्यार आनी ते ऑपोजिशनान आशिल्ले जाल्यार ते नॉन स्टॉप बोबाड करपाचे आनी रस्त्यार पासून वचपाचे. लास्ट टायम तुमकां याद आसा, मायकल लोबो BJPन गेलो तेन्ना सांगपाक लागलो डुईंग मोर्चा ऑन द रोड हॅज नो मिनींग म्हणून. दिस इज नॉट द वे. इट इज part of a democratic process where we have to show the government. Ata when the speaker, but we have to understand one thing, आता पार्लिमेंटाचे कितले MPs आहात, सगळ्यांक चान्स मेळना उलोवपाक. थोडे बेश्टे वयतात बेंच वॉर्मिंग करून भायर सरतात. आमचे आमदार पासून आहात थोडे आतां आयज एक इशू आशिल्लो दाखोवपाक that I am holier than God म्हणून उबो रावले आनी उलोवपाक लागले. But नाजाल्यार maybe they will be asked तूं कित्याक उलयलो ना, why you didn't show your support.
सारकें.
So these are issues when they speak, and sometimes they speak ad nauseum. Ad nauseum म्हणल्यार ताम नासतना उलयताय.
Exactly.
गरजे भायर unnecessary things. You must be focused.
Wasting the assembly time.
That is also a strategy which they are using.
Exactly.
आमगे time cut करपाक, question hour cover करपाक.
Exactly.
Which I think the speaker should take control of it and say that you speak to the point.
Yes.
तूं पळय, I will not beat around the bush.
Exactly.
हांव मुगे भाशण दिसना थिंगा. I will speak
you are
direct to the
advocate.
point.
तुका कोर्टान भितर तितलें जाय तितलें उलोवपाचें
मांडून करूं जाय.
सारकें. सो म्हाका एक सांग, स्पिकरा कडेन परफॉर्मन्स तुका कशें दिसता? कारण ऑपोजिशना कडेन पळोवपाची, हाजे पयलीं कांय जे स्पिकर आशिल्ले ते ऑपोजिशनाक उलोवपाकच दिनाशिल्ले. अशे वेळार रमेश तवडकर हो तुका सभापती म्हणून दिसता, तुमकां प्रश्न तुमचे आयल्यात, उलोवपाक मेळटा?
कितें जाता, ही इज ट्रायंग हिज बेस्ट. आय डोंट वॉन्ट टू मेक अ
Okay,
कमेंट.
good.
But he is a good man.
Yes.
But कितें जाता, sometimes he has got his own limitations.
Yeah.
And I am not sure whether he is being sometimes, I can't say.
Yeah.
But कितें जाता, when he may be seeing that the government is in a weak spot, then I think he will come to the defense of it. That would be but natural if you have a speaker of a ruling party. But sometimes maybe on an issue which he also wants a clarification, or maybe he wants something to be brought out, तो मागीर सांगतलो उलय तूं, continue, आनी आडायच ना कोणाक. But that it may not happen. I'm not talking only about him. It can happen from speaker to speaker across the country. Whether it is in a state legislature or maybe in the parliament.
तूं एज अ कायदा तज्ञ तूं स्पिकर्स आमचे तूं आतां इतलीं वर्सां असेंब्ली पळयता, असेंब्लीचो पावडो वाडला काय देंवला?
एक्चुअली चोवपाक गेल्यार डिबेट्स इंट्रस्टिंग आसपाक जाय. डिबेट्स शिंकून उलोवपाक जाय.
सारकें.
आनी लोकांक पासून म्हायती मेळपाक जाय की शिक्षण एटलीस्ट यू कॅन गो बॅक एनरिच्ड. आयज थोडे फावटी द लेवल वीच यू फील इज व्हेरी सॅड. It's not those days where you had those speakers come and speak really intelligently.
Yes.
They would organize the things, सगळे documents, सगळे घेऊन येताले, and they would floor the government. आज बेश्टी randomly you can make out उलयता, थोडे just praising, आणि what is the final? What is the take you get at the end? So तू एक total कर, take a summary of it. Zero. So I think that we need to have this kind of a thing. कितले ट्रेनिंग दिले मेन, I don't know whether it will help. But the question is, if you have your fundamentals right and you know the right approach, I think then you can get to the desired target in the manner which can deliver.
Exactly.
नाजाल्यार तूं बेश्टो उरतलो थिंगा.
म्हाका एक सांग, तुमी काँग्रेस जेन्ना असेंब्लीन येतात, तुमी सारकें कॉर्डिनेशन करतात, मिटींग जाता, अमके प्रश्नाचेर कोणें उलोवप, कशें उलोवप, हाजें एक जाता. एक काँग्रेस लेवल आनी दुसरें ऑपोजिशन लेवल. तुमी 7 जाण आहात, 7 भितर एक कॉर्डिनेशन आसता?
हय, आमी मिटींग घेतात. So as to discuss कोण कित उलयतलो, so that you know there should not be a cross kind of a thing that you say yes and I say no. It should not happen like that. So there should be a coordination. Plus our leader of opposition does call the other members of the other parties, including the Viresh Borkar, everybody, Aam Aadmi and Vijay Sardesai, and we meet so that we can work out on floor management, on how it would be.
Nice. Floor management is very important.
That is most important. Yes. Like today you see, even taking on that resolution relating to that BBC documentary, it was managed well. It was like, we did work on a unified manner of going about, and so we could express our views and go in for a division.
Exactly. BBC आणि मणिपुराक जाल्ले हिंसाचार, बायलांक जाल्ले त्रास आनी BBC डॉक्युमेंटरी, हाजेर तुमी कशे तरेचे, वॉट इज युअर स्ट्रॅटेजी ऑन इट? कारण हे गोंयाक लागपी प्रश्न न्ही. BBC काय गोंयाक लागना, मणिपूर जरी एक इन्सिडेंट जाल्लो असलो, हिंसाचार जाल्लो असलो, गोंया कडेन डायरेक्ट संबंध ना. सो वॉट इज युअर स्ट्रॅटेजी ऑन रेजिंग दीस इश्यूज?
Sorry, while you may say BBC is not going to directly affect Goa, एक याद दवर, what has happened as a consequence of BBC, what has happened in the documentary is not something which I will say you play those old historical files and show. Question is, what has happened as a consequence of the BBC documentary, of banning the documentary, of asking them to remove all the links so that no one can see it, is a sign of the censorship which is working in the country. It is not the document per se, but the reaction of the government of India. How scared they got and how they can come down not only raiding BBC, raiding everybody else who spoke against them. This is an indication of an emergency, by unwritten emergency in the country. And I think this is a great threat to the freedom of the press.
Carlos, I will also act as a devil's advocate here.
Right.
काँग्रेस गव्हर्मेंट असताना काँग्रेसीन खुबशी बुक्स बॅन केल्ली, फिल्म्स बॅन केल्ली. तेन्नाचे प्रायम मिनिस्टर जर कितें आयलें जाल्यार दे वेर ऑल्सो व्हेरी मच एग्रेसीव. सो तुमी जर आतां फाल्यां पावराचेर आयले, यू वील बी ऑफ द ओपिनियन दॅट देर शूड बी अल्टिमेट फ्रीडम ऑफ द प्रेस, अल्टिमेट expression, right to express.
See, let us admit one thing honestly.
Yeah.
Congress has made its mistakes and we don't have to run away from it. We learn from these things.
Yes.
And once we have learned, we have not gone back to those days.
Yes.
Which are called the dark days.
Yes.
And I think Congress has moved far away from it. Yes. It is Congress which brought Right to Information Act to give the right to information or the freedom to ask information of any department from any ministry.
Yes, yes.
And if Congress wanted to suppress the voice, you could have still kept them out.
Yes.
And I think Congress has gone a long way from that to keep that in the past, in the back burner, yes. and move the nation forward out of the depths of these days.
Yes.
But if you look at it, it's looking like a cycle. We are going back into that trap again.
Yes.
And this government now, the NDA government, which is the BJP especially, they don't like dissent. They don't like anyone talk against them. They don't like exposition. They don't like any criticism.
Yes.
And this is the result where they will try to finish you if you try to open your mouth.
Carlos, there is, तुम्ही देशभरान पळयलें ऑपोजिशनाक ट्रॅप करपा खातीर दे यूज ED, CBI हें चलत आहा आनी ऑपोजिशन लिडराक तामिळनाडून जालां, दिल्लीन चलत आसा. सो गोंयान भितर अशें थ्रेट दिसता तुमकां?
So the question is,
कारण ऑलरेडी तुमचे 10 जाण तांगे भितर सरले, आतां फकत 3 जाण उरल्यात.
ना,
So
8 जाण गेले.
8 जाण गेले. सो आतां 3 जाण उरल्यात. सो तुमकां हें सगळें हो ट्रॅप घालून तुमकां उलोवपाक बंद करपाक शकतात. दे हॅव अ लॉट ऑफ वेपन्स इन देयर हेड.
See, it all depends on what they think of, which can silence somebody. You don't require to necessarily be elected to make all this. Even if you're not elected, businessmen also have been raided.
Yes.
Or sometimes some people who are flush with money also have been. That means rich people
journalists have also been.
Even journalists have been silenced.
Yes.
And you remember that Disha Ravi, remember that case? Picked up from Bangalore, taken to Delhi, arrested, no bail, and finally Kizala. There was no charge sheet.
Yes.
The whole case was dropped.
Yes.
My question is, how come did you remand in the first place? How come you denied bail? And it's not that last you found there was no case. In the beginning there was no case. You could not bring in any more case.
Exactly.
It remained zero from the beginning.
Exactly.
So even here, according to me, judiciary has failed.
Exactly.
And judiciary should have stood up and said nothing doing.
Exactly.
But sometimes there is a thing which they say, oh, give the investigation agency time. I don't agree with this, respectfully. If there is no material, there is no reason to detain a person even for 1 minute more. So I think this goes hand in hand. So if judiciary also comes to show, it's not that, see, everybody who you put a slur, you throw some ink on him, he doesn't become dirty. So therefore, I think if we work together and really be honest that is this person really required, not required, or out, they will then be scared.
Yes, yes, yes. Carlos,
even now you talked about Manipur.
Yes.
You look at the situation of Manipur. Manipur is burning from May, around 5th of May.
Yes.
And it still, after knowing this Manipur issue, our Prime Minister flies out. And then he doesn't miss doing yoga over there in New York. It's a sad joke. From there you are flying to other nations. Manipur still continues to burn.
Yes.
And this is a tragedy which is unfolding in our own nation, and you are traveling all over the world, enjoying the best things and enjoying fleshy things and all. Any other Prime Minister would have cancelled his tour and gone back home.
Manipur was a serious
very serious, and it's still burning till today.
Yes, सरकारान ताजे जाय तशी
आत तूं पळय, हे वेस्ट बेंगॉला कितें बारीक खूंय उजो पेटलो कोणा मारलो
Immediately
तो गव्हर्नर
सरकार-
धांवतालो थिंगा दिल्ली सांगपा ते डिसमीस दीस गव्हर्नमेंट इम्पोज प्रेसिडेंट्स रूल
एक्झॅक्टली
आज सद्या तुगे चीफ मिनिस्टर आहा म्हण तूं थिंगा तेका दोन
आनी
बसून दवरता.
गोंयांनी तेंच जालें न्ही गोंयान आतां इतले इशू
हय.
स्मार्ट सिटी टू कला अकादमी आतां एसेंब्लीच्याच आमी जर विचार करतलो तूं खुशी आसा की कला अकादमीचो इशू तुमी सामको ताणून धरलो सामकें फायट केलें आनी ऑपोजिशनाच्या मेंबरांनी जें काम केलां तें कमेंडेबल तूं खुशी आसा की ज्या पद्दतीन तुमी पळय तो इशू रेज केलो ताका न्याय मेळ्ळो एसेंब्लीन
I don't think so. I still feel that we need to do more work.
ओके
And I think we need to floor the government. If it's not going to be on the floor of the house, it will have to be outside.
येस
Because don't give eyewash. Because I have one fear that how did you decide? You could have seen so many IIT Bombay is there, IIT
Yes.
Kanpur is there. You could have got anybody else.
येस
You can't try to bring a friendly this thing. I don't want to
ते
make.
ते अशें म्हणटात की हें जें ओपन एअर ऑडिटोरियम आशिल्लें ताजे पयचे वयर पाखाटे आशिल्ले ताजे भितर आमी कसलोच हात लायना म्हणटात ते पूण आतां हेरिटेज एक्शन ग्रूप दाखयता आहा की वयलो पळय जो कितें फसाड आसा तो चेंज केल्लो वयर वॉटरप्रुफींग केल्लें सो लॉट ऑफ चेंजीस दे हॅव मेड आनी जें वीक आशिल्लें तो पाखो तो पडलो सो दे हॅव इंटरफियर्ड विथ इट सो हें सगळें नवें आतां इन्फॉर्मेशन घेवन ऑपोजिशन कितें करूं सोदता
So, you cannot say that Kala Academy collapse is like old age related collapse. It is clearly you touched the structure.
करेक्ट
Apparently, kon touch kela
Aye.
was structurally not competent.
सारकें
The person did not even probably look at the plans before existing
हांवें
plans.
PWD मिनिस्टर निलेश काबराचो हांवें एक इंटरव्यू घेतला
Aye.
ताणें म्हाका सांगलें आमी तें एका एक्सपिरियन्स कॉन्ट्रॅक्टराक दिल्लें तो एक्सपिरियन्स कितें काय म्हळ्यार बॉम्बेचें गोवा पळय भवन आहा
Aye.
तें ताणें रिनोवेट केलां आतां इट्स ए स्मॉल स्ट्रक्चर
Aye.
कंपेर्ड टू कला अकादमी बीग
Correct.
हेरिटेज बिल्डींग आनी तिका येदे सामकी जाका कसलोच एक्सपिरियन्स ना ताका तुमी काडून कॉन्ट्रॅक्टराक दितात सो अश्यो कितल्योश्योच चुको केल्यात तर तुमच्या हातान इतले सगळे वेपन आहा आनी तुमी हाजे फुडें कशें वतले कला अकादमी
See, we will work a joint strategy
हां
on this because I alone don't want to, because it will be an opposition
येस
movement how we will take it. Let me also put on record that if anybody wants to say that they didn't touch it, it is false,
सारकें
because the evidence on the ground shows it was touched.
येस
ते केक म्हूण अशी
सामकें
ते पडलो आहा थिंगा
बरोबर.
because you had put wheat on top,
सामकें
and therefore it could not have happened. ते कावडे आगले म्हूण ते जालें ना थिंगा.
सामकें ना
So it's not that kind of a story.
सामकें
So, ani ami, we are not small kids to believe such type of story.
Correct.
So, those fairy tales can be kept for other places. But I think this kind of a thing requires a more serious approach. आत पळय तुमी
हय
ते आनीक एक पंप सामकें ते इनॉग्रेट केल्लो
8 दीस पयलीं केला
आनी रोखडो धुवन गेलो
सामकें
आनी म्हणटा आनी इट्स लायक अ मॅटर ऑफ फॅक्ट झाड पडले गेले. इट्स व्हॉट अ वे ऑफ सेयिंग दिस. इट्स नॉट. इट्स लायक यू प्लीज टेक इट फॉर ग्रांटेड. दुसरें बिल्डींग पडटले तुका आमी बांदतले परत. दिस इज नॉट द वे.
न्ही आतां पळय न्ही कला
लॉज ना. दॅट्स वाय आय एम सेयिंग तांकां लॉज ना.
सारकें कला अकादमीचें स्ट्रक्चर पळय आतां ते म्हणटात IIT बॉम्बेक काम दिल्लें बारीक पळोवपाक हो कॉन्ट्रॅक्टर आशिल्लो ह्या कॉन्ट्रॅक्टराचेर गोवा गव्हर्मेंटाचें कांय कंट्रोल ना. आतां हें स्ट्रक्चर पडटकीर जें ताणें बांदलां फाटल्या आतां 2.5 वर्सां ताजें क्वॉलिटी कितें कसो तपासतले. सो तुमी अशें कितें डिमांड करपाचें आहात की हो संबंद जे पळय कितें प्रकल्प आहा ताजो नव्यान विचार
आज
जावपाक जाय.
सद्या सीएमान सांगला तो व्हायट पेपर हाड म्हूण बिफोर द क्लोज ऑफ द सेशन.
आतां व्हायट पेपर करतलो कोण काय PWD.
ना ना, डोंट वरी अबाउट इट. हुएवर डज इट, आमगेले इनपुट्स येतले.
हां
So we will have our own investigative skills on doing it.
ओके
See, because we will have to. They will always. खंय कोर्टांत गेले जाल्यार they will
कारण
present this kind.
व्हायट पेपरान तुमचो रोल कितें आसतलो.
I don't know, because they will bring it.
White paper is supposed to be done by PWD.
Correct.
Or he says, I am going to do it.
Aye.
Neeraj Kabral says.
Aye.
So, as a PWD minister, तो तुमकां विचारान घेतलो तो म्हणटलो फाटल्या 29 वर्सांचो
So
हिस्ट्री कितें.
I sometimes I suspect, but you have to give the benefit of the doubt till you see it.
Okay.
So I don't want to say, but sometimes आमगे मोनान कितें आसता, ते suspicion आसता, will this be white paper be a cover up? But whether it is or not, I don't want to comment and prejudge the issue. If he is honest and says this was the thing,
Yes.
See, there are sometimes आम्ही चुकतात. We can say sorry and we can say all right, I made a
Exactly.
mistake. People will accept it also.
Exactly. एक हातूंत भितर कितलो पयसो
आणि तूं म्हाका सांग,
अबाउट 60 crores ऑन रिनोवेशन. फाटल्या 20 वर्सांन ह्या स्ट्रक्चराचेर 150 crores खर्च केले. एवरी इफी some 10 to 20 crores of rupees is spent. So फाटल्या 20 वर्सांन जर इतलो पयसो मोडला तर समथींग लोकांच्या बोल्सांतल्यान टॅक्स पेयर्साचो पयसो न्ही. सो ताजेर एक ऑपोजिशनान इल्लें चड इल्लें बारीकसाणेन बोवाळ करून
maybe when they table it on the house, we will also be able to counter that. तुका याद आसा काणकोणा एक बिल्डिंग पडवलें रुबी रेजिडेन्सी म्हणून.
सारकें
हां, रोखडें सरकारान कितें केल्लें, डिजास्टर मॅनेजमेंट येयला एंड फायनली दे इवन बुक्ड FIR. हिंग कितें जालो, कोण आयल ना
सामकें.
आनी मागीर एक कोणाची FIR ना.
सामकें
कितें एकल्याचें गायल जाल्यार तो आनी सांगलें जाल्यार हिंग पयशे हायले जाल्यार म्हाका म्हजें काम करूं जायना म्हूण सगळें भायर वतलें.
ना हातूंत भितर PWDचो रोल आहा. जसो रोल आसा आर्ट एंड कल्चर कला अकादमीचे कमिटी, PWDचो रोल ताका क्रेडिबिलिटीच ना जाल्यार PWD इतली कामां करता. पूण तुवें म्हणलें तशें पंप लायलो 8 दिसान व्हांवन गेलो. हांगा पणजेन सिटीन एका बरोबर 4 कामां सुरू करतात. कसलें कोऑर्डिनेशन ह्या 4
मालान पासून कितें पडलें खंय आयकलां न्ही. थिंगा सेंट्रल लायब्ररी तुवें आयकलां तें कितें सिवेज हें आहा म्हूण तें टांकी पडली खंय थिंगा. इट इज सच शेमफूल थिंग टू. कितें जाता, I sometimes don't even put it in public domain. कित्याक people look at what we say. People look at what we say. And then if आमी गायले जाल्यार it becomes a shame for our state.
Exactly.
I avoid posting this kind of things. Just because I don't want to embarrass.
कार्लोश बाब म्हाका एक सांग, क्रेडिबिलिटी ऑफ द गव्हर्मेंट तूं कशें चोयता? कारण इतले सगळे फाटल्या आतां 1-2 वर्सां आमी पळयतात इतले सगळे इश्यू जाल्यात. ताका सारकें लॉजिकल एंडाक कोण वचना, इन्क्वायरी जावन कोणाक शिक्षा जाल्या अशें आमकां दिसना. आनी दुसऱ्या अर्दान पयशांचो इबाड.
So एक सांगता हांव तुका, sometimes some ministers have got the thing to do something. They have a keen desire.
You think that there are ministers in this government who are very serious in doing something?
I believe they have that kind of a drive to do certain things. Maybe they have selected certain projects and they want to do it. But kizata, sometimes the red tapeism and the bureaucracy holds it back. We don't look at it from that point of view. Sometimes the finance holds it back because shortage of funds and all.
See, we are not concerned about it. Government तुमचे, chief minister तुमचो, finance department तुमचे कडेन आहा.
No, that's why I'm saying
reforms हाडपाचे जबाबदारी तुमचे कडेन.
No, therefore I'm saying if these are all the factors put together, it means your government is not performing.
सारकें.
It means your government is concentrating on something else but what requires to be done for the public.
सारकें.
And then questions come of corruption.
सामकें.
Because you are showing projects, you are showing expenditure of money,
Exactly.
zero result or poor quality result.
सारकें. सामकें.
पैसे खंय गेले?
Exactly.
That is every common man's question.
सामकें. ह्या असेंब्लीन मायनिंगाचेर कितें डिस्कशन जातलें?
हय, केला also on resumption of mining. I पासून म्हणलोलें that in the budget the 1,000 crores they expecting revenue because of that. I said I don't expect it. You better start finding alternatives.
Exactly.
कितें हांव सांगता, when I was ASG, that time I remember there was to be so many complaints about any illegal kela, any illegal kela. So I one day asked officers also, why don't you stop it if it is so many illegalities? They said to me, minor violations as against major violations.
Yes.
If it is minor, fine galon, you can
Kurba.
finish it up. Major violations, we have to take action.
Yes.
So when there are hundreds of minor violations, it's like they fine it and you go. But here, and then they said the next part, it will affect economy. It, and
already affected.
And then the closure of mine cannot happen overnight. And the restarting of mine cannot start also overnight. They told me this.
Correct.
Atam Podoi, to do mining, you have to see how those mining walls are there. Tu gel zale kam korte podot. And people may die. So you have to do those benching of those mines properly first. Yes. For that it will take time.
ना दोन हातून भितर हाँ एक तांकां permissions.
No, I'm coming to that. That will be when you are going, once you have all the permission. Yes. Assembly सांगलें EC permissions आहे तुमकां.
Exactly.
आणि IBM permission, IBM plan दिवपाक जाय.
Exactly.
So how will you get all your permissions before the end of this financial year?
Yes.
म्हणून पावस येयलो, परत आनी एक वर्स जालें.
सारकें.
इफ यू रिमेंबर देर वॉज इन 2018 इफ आय एम नॉट मिस्टेकन व्हडलो बोवाड केल्लो आमी रिव्यू गायले सुप्रीम कोर्टान आनी कितें हांवें सांगलें आनी 2 वर्सां जायना कांय जायना
हय
टील टुडे इट्स नॉट स्टार्टेड.
एक्झॅक्टली आमी बरयतात आनी आमी क्लाउड आल्वारिसाचे हांगा 3-4 इंटरव्यूज घेतल्यात. तो पळय ज्या पद्दतीन सांगतालो तशें जाला. पयलीं ताणें सांगिल्लें मायनींग आमी सुरू जातलें जावंकूच शकना, तुमी ताजो लिलाव कर ऑक्शन करपाकूच जाय. ऑक्शन करतकीर तुमी ताजें एक सिस्टम करपाक जाय. मेन इम्पॉर्टंट सुप्रीम कोर्टान सारकें क्लियर डायरेक्शन दिल्लें मायनींग सुरू जावचे पयलीं मायन्स डिपार्टमेंट हॅज टू बी एफिशियंट. मायन्स डिपार्टमेंटान वेगवेगळे रूल्स तयार करचे पडटले. रोड्स कॅपेसिटी आसा काय ना, मायन्स डिपार्टमेंटान वेगवेगळे एक्सपर्ट्स वचचे पडटले. हें सगळें केलां
कांय ना. तो यू लूक एट इट. हांव एक एग्जांपल दिता बारीक. हें मायनिंगा तें सोड, पयलीं स्टेडियम बांदतात, मागीर पार्किंगां सोदतात,
सारकें
रस्ते सोदतात, जाम जातात सगळे. This is not the way you plan everything first and then you put your thing. It should be in that way.
सो कार्लोश बाब आमचो टायम सोंपत आयलो. म्हाका तुजे कडल्यान एक निमाणें लोकांक आश्वस्त करपी एक स्टेटमेंट जाय. आतां थोडे दीस उरल्यात असेंब्ली चलतली. हाव वी वील सी ऑपोजिशन?
I think you will see opposition growing stronger and stronger as the demands. Ata demand starts जातले आमचे. So we will be talking on various issues in the demands, and we will be able to bring up things which the government has been slow or lacking or failing. And I think that people can rely on the opposition to bring forth their grievances and to put the government on the mat.
Yes. थँक्यू कार्लोश बाब, थँक्यू व्हेरी मच. असेंब्ली चालू आसतना तुवें आमकां टायम दिलो, तूं हांगा आयलो. आनी ही चर्चा आमी असेंब्ली चालू आसतना करीत आसात. आमी ऑपोजिशनाक खूब म्हत्व दितात, कारण सरकार आमी जाणा सरकार वेगवेगळ्यो बातां मारून वेगवेगळी तड्डकां सांगून प्रश्न टाळटा. फक्त प्रश्न टाळटा अशें न्ही, त्या प्रश्नाच्या मूलभूत निश्कर्शा कडेन येवपूय सोदना. सभागर समिती मागतात, पूण सभागर समिती जातली काय ना सगळ्याक दुबाव आसता. आनी तातूंतल्यान कितें तरी निश्कर्श येवन सरकार सत्य लोकां मुखार मांडटले काय हो प्रश्न आसता. तरी विरोधी पक्ष आड्डे मारतात, विरोधी पक्ष सतत ताळो बस सर आमी पळयलात कांय वांगडी सतत प्रश्न दसाक लायतना दिश्टी पडटात. कार्लोश बाबूय ताणें एक विधानसभेक एक प्रतिश्ठा दिवपाचो प्रयत्न केला. स्वता तांकां प्रतिश्ठा आसा आनी ते प्रश्न अभ्यास करून मांडटात. आमी फुडल्या सप्तकांनी बी अशे तरेचे विरोधी पक्षांचे परफॉर्मन्स आनीक इल्ले बरे जातले पळयतले, आनी ताणें आमकां तशें उतर दिल्लें आसा. कार्लोश बाब, हांव तुमकां धन्यवाद दिता.
थँक्यू.
थँक्यू. पळयत रावात गोमंतक TV.